In the book, An Everyone Culture reviews 3 leading companies that use culture as a strategy. Kegan and Lahey point out that the greatest waste of a company's resources is the underutilization of employees' skills and potential. The practices, non-negotiables, and principles of the DDOs, or the Deliberately Developmental Organizations, all focus on growth, not only for the company, but also for the individuals as they compromise the company in every way, from their daily routines and tasks to their contributions to the organization as a whole. These DDOs utilize people development along with coaching and constant review and assessment to ensure that they are on track with the foundational principle that growth and change are essential to progress and profit. 2 key points to understand about culture is that the everyday culture has just as much impact on the business as the employees and leaders do, as well as that understanding the relationship between human potential and organizational potential is interactive. In Chapter 1, that is the introduction to the DDOs. All 3 companies have the same underlying principle that if you are completely able to perform your role, it is no longer the right role for you, as it has no stretch left. With that mindset, the first company, Next Jump, upon being hired, the company's policy ensures that you understand better you plus better me equals better us. The better me is the importance of constant improvement. Better you is about the meaning that people derive from work through helping others in and outside of the company. And the better us is the payoff that the company, community, and ultimately the world receive. The second company is Decurion. Continuous feedback, coaching, and reflection are all routine procedures and deeply embedded in their culture to ensure that the company is right on track, and if not, they're able to use this to pinpoint the cause in order to get back on track. The third company, Bridgewater, ensures that setting goals based off of wholly accepted organizational values is something that's set forth. And so from there on, number 1, when you set goals that they are understood throughout the organization. 2, identifying and not tolerating problems. 3, diagnosing the problems and getting to the root causes and learning from those mistakes through a 5-step diagnostic process. 4, designing the plan and determining a solution. And then 5, doing the tasks that are resolved from the plan that was developed. In chapters 2 and 3, a broad overview of the DDOs, including the concepts that they use, identify 12 common features. They are not limited to, but they are just 12 of the broad ones. Having the understanding that adults can grow, that weakness is a potential and access and that error is an opportunity. 3, run on developmental principles. 4, the bottom line is all one thing, and defining the difference between development of a career versus the development of the person having the career. 5, destabilizing can be constructive. 6, minding the gaps and acknowledging the faults in the organization. 7, setting a time scale for growth, not closure, and setting the time for continuous growth within a long-term plan. 8, the interior life is what's part of what is manageable, including the culture, behavior, and expectations of the employees, and ensuring that a psychological strategy to ensure overall happiness for employees and ultimately the organization and culture is embedded there. 9, rank does not have its usual privileges. Rank doesn't give you a pass, and that everyone is still held to the same standard. 10, everyone does people development. Again, circling back to the principle of number 9, doesn't matter your role, title, or anything else, everyone is still expected to continue to develop. 11, everyone needs a crew. In identifying your people development, you also are identifying your blind spots of areas of weaknesses you may or may not be aware of. And so ensuring that you have a crew ensures these checks and balances so that everyone understands and is able to encompass and move forward. It's also the better you and better me is also embedded into that. And number 12, everyone builds a culture. Individual alignment with the organization's culture is essential. However, continuous practice of the routines and expectations ensures that everyone is an essential piece to the organization's progress. In Chapter 4, it reviews practices that support the DDO culture, including practicing to help externalize the struggles that are interior, practices that connect the work of the business to the working on ourselves, that continuous progress, practices that move from focusing on the outcomes. Language is also a practice. It creates new tools for a new paradigm. And then also the systemic stretch involves everyone every day across the organization. In Chapter 5, it reviews the business values of the DDOs and ensuring that companies Did they succeed despite the attention that they're giving to personal development, or is it because of it? In Chapter 6, it offers direct experiences and considerations firsthand that you might want to use while building and leading a DDO. In Chapter 7, it also provides a framework of how 5 other organizations transformed from the ground up to give you an idea of how to potentially give a framework to move your organization to becoming a DDO. One of the biggest takeaways that you have to understand is that all 3 DDOs, Bridgewater Associates, Decurion Corporation, and Next Jump, as they are all very different with various fields and pathways and how they got into the change in the culture, no one single formula or method was used. What they do share is a very, very deep assumptions about the possibility and valuing of growth, ways of structuring growth directly in their work, and ways of helping people develop their giving and receiving of feedback and coaching, and finally, ways of making people development and business development all one and the same.